Howdy mates, good noontime. Here's a part 2 video today. I'm once again still over at the Charlotte Harbor Environmental Center. This is actually one of the designated ponds found here at the Three Lakes Trail, even though these really aren't lakes. But here, depending on the exact time that you are here during the day, you'll find plenty of alligators out here and also plenty of wading birds in addition. So, I was having a recent conversation with an individual named Frank. He recently moved down here, originally from Illinois, and it was his first time here. So I was just, I was kind of acting like a tour guide in a sense, not being paid, as a volunteer. How about that? But I was basically mentioning with him about, some of the hydrology that is here. So essentially where I'm standing, this is where you'll really start to find more of you're getting a bit closer to the salt marshes. And the salt marshes is also known as an ecotone, which is just a fancy term meaning a transition zone. So, mostly salt marshes have that mixture of fresh and salt water, which will essentially then transition into the estuary. But what's particularly neat is the salinity of the water. Here, for instance, it can vary depending on the time of the year. So, especially during the wet season, there's a lot more rainwater that occurs here. So that rainwater has a chance to percolate, filter through to help provide new water for our vegetation here. And the more fresh water there is, the less the salinity will be. But then, considering that we are now in the dry season and we're not getting as much rain influx, the salinity is bound to be a little higher. But keep in mind though, like where we are, it's still an estuary. So that's why we're still seeing, I don't know if you guys can see it that well, you can see an alligator probably peeking over at me like, "Hey homie, what's up?" I'm gonna call him Alan. He's a fellow homie of mine. But with that being said, the hydrology in the past has been highly altered here. So at one point back in the 1960s, a lot of ditches were dug here for a mitigation of mosquitoes. But what happened was that caused more salt water to flow in, thus raising salinity. And also even brought over more mangroves in the area. So, of course, restoration has been done, and essentially now the ecosystem is really back where it should be. Because even here, we're actually seeing a little bit of a slough, which essentially means, water levels can vary depending on the year. So since the water level varies, that's why, even on this trail, for instance, we're not seeing any water whatsoever. And just look at this. We got a vast network of a red mangrove here. It's actually these type of mangroves that produce the well-known propagules, in which red mangroves are the, back to what I was saying, red mangroves are the only known type of plant to actually give birth to its own next generation. So think of the propagules as the actual baby. So in a sense, red mangroves actually get pregnant when they're loaded with the propagules. And usually these propagules will travel a decent ways to reestablish to a new destination. So like down here, you see that little sprout right there? That is a propagule that has had a chance to establish itself and will thus give birth to a whole new mangrove. And then eventually, you give it quite a few years, it will develop just like this one. And then, of course, the whole process starts over again. So it's quite neat. So, alright you guys, just wanted to keep that video a little shorter so that the video wouldn't wind up being way too long. So, hope you guys enjoyed watching. Thanks for your support. Hope you're all enjoying your Wednesday. And once again, Journey on a Journey is outwards. Take care, folks. See ya.